Hey, what is going on, you shifty shinks? So, some cards were leaked from the Japanese sets, Time Gazer and Space Juggler, and there's some interesting ones, so we're going to take a look at them today. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on them. The first card coming up is the Origin Palkia V with the Domain Ruler as the first attack. Water Energy, search your deck for a Stadium card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So not a great attack. You don't really want a V Pokemon sitting in your active just to go search for a Stadium card most of the time. 220 HP as well. And it's got the Hydro Break for 200 damage. You can't use this attack during your next turn for water colors. So not bad, but you're probably not going to be attacking with the V very often. Also weak to lightning and 2 retreat costs. You're going to be attacking with the V-Star maybe, or actually the V-Star might just be a support Pokemon for other decks, to be honest. So 280 HP, water, it's got that spatial swell, 60 damage plus 20 for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So very similar to Suicune's attack, but it's 60 plus 20 instead of 20 plus 20. So a little bit more damage there in the initial damage. And then the ability is the really interesting thing on this card. It's got that Star Portal ability for its V-Star power. Once during your turn, you may use this ability, attach up to 3 water energy cards from your discard pile to your water Pokemon in any way you like. So that could be a big game changer, not just for itself, but for water Pokemon in general. And the one I'm thinking about, of course, is Ice Rider VMAX. Ice Rider VMAX has always had, I mean, I guess you want to call it trouble. Like, it just, you can't attack something, you can't boss in the same turn that you attack with Ice Rider VMAX as often as you would like. Because you usually have to Melanie to be attacking with your Ice Rider. But if you got this Palkia with this Star Portal ability to accelerate water energy into play onto your Ice Riders, you can use Boss, you can use Research, you can use Marnie. You just don't have to Melanie is the main thing. So I'm thinking this could be a huge card for the Ice Rider. Gonna have to wait and see what else is released as far as water Pokemon go. By the time this comes out, there might be some other Pokemon that would work better for it, but I'm thinking Ice Rider VMAX for sure with this one, but we'll have to wait and see. But definitely a super strong ability. The attack is like okay, so that's why I'm thinking Palkia might not be the main attacker in the deck you play it in. You might want to combo with something like the Ice Rider, or like I said, we'll see what other water Pokemon are out by the time this thing releases, because this might be actually even after the set that Darkrai V-Star releases, but this could be part of that set as well. I'm not sure. Up next, we have the Typhlosion. Spectral Ball is the ability. You can discard a Psychic Energy, and then your opponent's active is now Burn and Confuse, so not a terrible ability. And then the attack, Psychic Call is for 90 defendable one, can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, but it's on a stage 2. Solid ability, but probably won't see much utilization because it is a stage 2 Pokemon, which just isn't great at all. Moving along, we got the Decidueye. Now, what I love that they're starting to bring back, I mentioned this last time I talked about lead cards, is they're bringing back attacks that cost zero energy. I think this is a great thing that they should have been utilizing since they started doing it, as just a way to, it gives them more space to balance cards. If a card just, isn't great, you could give it a free attack like this, and it gives them just more range to balance cards. It's something that I think they never should have stopped doing and probably should have done more of when they were doing it, and all in between. And now they're bringing it back though, and I hope they keep it as a thing, in the future of the game. I think there should always be these kind of free attacks. Anyways, the attacks on this Decidueye, 160 HP. It is a stage 2, but the attack, when it costs nothing to do the attack, I think there is some potential for the Decidueye. It is a stage 2, but when it has a free attack, there's some potential. So this is 30 damage times the number of damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. So it has to be comboed with something. And the main things I thought of that you can combo with, like Quick Shooting and Teleon sounds good, but that's like another stage 2 you're playing in the deck. Maybe with Wheezing, you poison them, and then you can bring up the Decidueye eventually to take some big KOs. So maybe Wheezing plus Decidueye, there could be some combo there. I'm sure there'll be other options overall, but I think there is some potential potentially for Decidueye, just because it has an attack that costs 0 energy, so you can kind of combo it with anything. Its other attack costs Fighting Colorless, and does 80 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So not a great second attack, and it does cost fighting energy, but because the first attack just costs nothing, you don't have to play a specific energy type when you play the Decidueye to make the first attack work. You can really play it with anything. So I think there is some potential for Decidueye. 2 retreat costs, weak to Psychic. The Samurott, once again, a stage 2. Discard a card from your hand, draw 3 cards. It's okay. It's on a stage 2. You could just play a stage 1 like the Cincino or the Lipard. Get 1 less card, but you don't have to get to a stage 2. The attack, Dark Colorless, 60 damage plus 20 for times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So the attack is pretty strong, to be honest. 60 plus 20, not a great, like a plus per energy, but it's for the energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So if you get somehow build up a ton of energy in play, there would maybe be some potential for the Samurott. It is a stage 2 though, and I struggle to see how you could get enough energy into play to like one-hit KO VSTARS eventually, so probably not going to be great, but the attack isn't terrible. It is kind of bad though because it is on a stage 2. With Darkrai V-Star coming out, that's probably just like a better option if you really want to do a ton of damage for a ton of energy in play. Up next, this is probably the most viable stage 2 out of the leaked cards, is the Magnezone. When 50 HP, the ability once in your turn, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck and attach any number of metal energy you find there to your Pokemon in play. Shuffle the remaining cards back into your deck. Metal colorless 120. I mean, if you can attack with it as a 1-prizer, it might be okay. Weakness fire. And then 2 retreat cost, resistance to grass. So I think this one actually has potential. Look at the top 6, attach any energy you find there is pretty good. Of course, Metal Saucer is still around as well, so that's a lot of ways to accelerate energy. Maybe you'd play Metal Saucer with the Magnezone, maybe you wouldn't. Maybe your goal would just be to try and set up 2 Magnezone. And of course, it's going to combo really well with Dialga, potentially, which we'll talk about in a second. But maybe Metal Saucer just kind of trumps Magnezone for now. But when Metal Saucer rotates, who knows? Maybe Magnezone sees some play. But I definitely think out of all of the stage 2s, that were leaked, Magnezone has the most potential to potentially be played. Moving along to the Dialga, got Metal Coat attached to 2 metal energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So it is nice to have an energy acceleration attack like this, but it's going to be in the active with all that energy. It's you usually don't want the same thing with the Palkia. You don't usually want your active to have, you know, energy and stuff on it like a V Pokemon in the active. It's just gonna get KO'd. Don't put your V Pokemon in the active like that. Or usually they'll just get KO'd. So good attack if you were new your Dialga V wouldn't get KO'd, but it's probably getting KO'd. Then metal colorless 180. Pretty expensive attack on the V there. You're probably not going to be using that very often. The V-Star, however, is very powerful, and I think this thing will see a decent amount of play, if not a ton of play, and just be kind of just really, really good. So it's got Metal Blast, 40 damage plus 40 for each metal energy attached to it. It's okay. It's to the Pokemon itself, so that's not ridiculously good, because that means you have to build up quite a few energy to ever like get to like a 1 KO on a V-Star. However, it's V-Star power for metal colorless, and I know that's a lot of energy, but when you combo this with something like Bronzong and Metal Saucers or the Magnezone maybe, and you have a bunch of energy in play with the Bronzong, you can move it around, get it onto the Dialga at some point, or like I said, if you could do it with the Magnezone, you know, just build up a bunch of energy and play on your Dialgas and eventually get one of them to the point where they can use this Chronostar V power, which is 220 damage, and then take another turn after this one. I think that's just super powerful V-Star power if you can get it set up. I think there's a lot of potential for this card. Like I said, the Magnezone, there is the Bronzong. One of those has to make this thing work at least reasonably well, I feel like. And then if you pull out that V-Star power, that is like a lot of potential to do stuff. Like, it's just really, really good, I think. So, I mean, we'll wait and see. It is a pretty costly attack. And you have to be doing something else besides just attacking with Dialga. I don't think you're just going to build up to this V-Star power and then win the game. You have to be doing something before that. But, you know, we have Zacian, we have Zamazenta, stuff like that. Stuff you could use beforehand to do damage or take some earlier KOs. And then you close out the game with this big V-Star power potentially. But I think there's a lot of potential here. Just have to wait and see how it ends up going. But, yeah, the Dialga, definitely, I think, I don't know if I want to say more potential than the Palkia. They're both pretty good, to be honest. As kind of like support Pokemon. They're not like going to be the main focus of a deck, I don't think. They're going to be like follow-up to something. Although I could see like a Dialga V-Star deck, you know, with Magnezone being pretty good potentially. If you can build up enough energy for the Metal Blast to take like 2 KOs and then maybe build up into like a Chronostar to take a knockout and then get a bunch more metal energy on it through Magnezones and then take a 1-hit KO on the next turn with the Metal Blast. Like, that could work potentially. I could see this plus Magnezone actually being pretty good. Have to wait and see. But yeah, I think there's potential for both of them, Dialga A and Palkia. One of them is not getting left behind in this scenario. New fossil Pokemon. New supporter, search your deck for a water Pokemon and an item card, reveal them and put them into your hand. So kind of like a new take on Karina. Water Pokemon and item card. Not sold. This will be very good. Seems very okay. I could be wrong though. It could be better than it looks. And then another supporter card. Discard 2 metal energy cards from your hand. If you do search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. I think this one could actually be pretty good. 2 metal energy cards in your hand. That might be pretty tough to do, to be honest. But being able to search for any 2 cards, if you combo this with something like the Magnezone, you could go get Candy Magnezone. But then you put 2 metal energy in the discard pile. So then are you also running Metal Saucer and Magnezone? That's like a lot to put in a deck just to accelerate energy. But maybe you're doing that. Maybe you have some other way to recover metal energy at that point. I don't know. I think there's potential for this card. it would just be tough to get the 2 Metal Energy in your hand alongside the supporter consistently. So it probably won't see play, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. At first I read it, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. It sounds like it'd be pretty good, especially to get, you know, Candy Magnezone. But the more I think about it, how are you getting this and 2 Metal Energy into your hand? Are you going to play Eldegoss or something? That sounds terrible. So to be honest, it doesn't look great. But I'm hyped for the Dialga. I'm hyped for the Palkia. Pretty hyped for the Magnezone as well, to be honest. Some potential with the Decidueye. A lot of cool new cards coming out. And cool new cards just keep coming out. So I'm super excited for all the cards that have been getting leaked recently. And yeah, just more cool new cards coming out in the future. The future of the Pokemon trading card game looks super bright. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give the video a like. And if you're enjoying the content, as always, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.